Officer Maya Hart tapped the roof of the silver sedan with two sharp knocks. The rain was hammering the road so hard it sounded like gravel hitting metal. Inside the car, the driver didn't move, not even a little. Maya leaned closer to the window and shined her flashlight inside. "Sir," she said calmly, "license and registration." The man slowly rolled down the window. He looked exhausted. Early 30s, stubble on his jaw, eyes that hadn't slept in weeks. His hands were shaking on the steering wheel. Maya had seen nervous drivers before, but this wasn't nervous. This was something deeper. Her light moved across his hands, and that's when she saw it. A gold wedding ring. She smirked. "Well," she said, trying to lighten the mood, "you were doing 50 in a 35. The man swallowed hard. "I'm sorry, officer." Maya leaned one arm on the door. Then she made the mistake that would change all three of their lives. "You know," she said with a teasing shrug, "if you weren't married, I might slip my number on the ticket instead of a fine." For a second, nothing happened, no reaction, just the rain hitting the roof. Then the man's face collapsed. Not angry, not embarrassed, something worse, broken. His fingers slowly touched the ring, and when he spoke, his voice barely existed. "I'm not married." Maya blinked. "Oh, sorry, my wife died." The words landed like a gunshot. Everything inside Maya froze. The rain, the flashing police lights, the road. Her stupid smile vanished instantly. I didn't know," she said quietly. "I'm sorry." The man nodded once, not angry, just tired. "I know you didn't." His voice cracked, "but I still wear it." His thumb rubbed the ring slowly. "Taking it off feels like forgetting her." Maya didn't know where to look. Then something moved in the back seat. A small voice spoke up. "Daddy." Maya's flashlight shifted, and she saw him. A little boy, curled under a blanket, clutching a stuffed elephant like it was armor. His eyes were huge, too old for a kid that small. The boy looked straight at Maya. "You made my daddy sad." The words punched straight through her chest. She crouched down beside the door. "What's your name, buddy?" "Caleb." "How old are you?" "8." Maya swallowed hard. "Hey, Caleb, I'm really sorry." The boy didn't answer. He just hugged the elephant tighter. Maya stood slowly and looked back at the driver's license. "Ethan Brooks." "Mr. Brooks," she said quietly, "you were speeding." "I know. I should give you a ticket." He nodded. "I deserve it." Then Caleb spoke again from the back seat. "We're late." Maya looked back. "Late for what?" The boy answered, "My doctor." Ethan quickly added, "He's been having nightmares. Bad ones. We got an emergency appointment tonight." Maya looked between them. Rainwater dripped from her hat. "Why the nightmares?" The boy's fingers tightened around the elephant. "Because Mommy died." The words came out like they had been practiced, like he had said them too many times, and suddenly Maya understood the shaking hands, the tired eyes. The speeding car, this man wasn't reckless, he was desperate. She looked at Ethan. "When did your wife pass?" 2 years ago. Car accident." The rain suddenly felt colder. For a moment Maya didn't speak. Then she slowly tore the ticket from her pad. Ethan closed his eyes, waiting. Maya looked at the paper, then ripped it in half. Ethan blinked. "You're not giving me the ticket." She shook her head. "No." She leaned down toward the window. "Just slow down." He stared at her like he didn't understand. "You're letting me go?" "Yes." "Why?" Maya looked at Caleb in the back seat, then back at Ethan. "Because that kid needs his dad." The silence that followed was heavy. Then Ethan nodded once. "Thank you." Maya stepped back. The sedan slowly pulled back onto the road. Its taillights disappeared into the rain, and Maya stood there in the flashing red and blue lights. Feeling like the worst person alive, she climbed back into her patrol car and slammed the door. "Nice job, Hart," she muttered to herself. "You flirt with a widower in front of his kid." She rubbed her face. The image wouldn't leave her mind. The ring, The boy, those words, "You made my daddy sad." Maya started the engine. She tried to shake it off. Tried to tell herself it was just another traffic stop, but something about that moment stuck to her, like a splinter she couldn't pull out. She had no idea that the next time she saw Ethan Brooks, her entire life would flip upside down, and the little boy in the back seat, he would be the one who changed everything. 3 days later, Maya walked into Scoops for one simple reason. Mint chocolate chip. One scoop. No drama, no sirens, no rain, just sugar and silence. The bell above the door jingled. Kids were yelling near the toppings bar. A teenage couple shared a spoon like it was a movie scene. Maya stood in line, eyes on the menu board, trying to pretend she was a normal person on her day off. Then she heard a voice behind her. Soft, careful. Officer Hart. Maya turned and her stomach dropped. Ethan Brooks stood 2 feet away. Same tired eyes, same stubble, same gold ring, but this time he wasn't in a rush. He wasn't shaking, and he wasn't trapped in a car with police lights behind him. He was just a man holding a little boy's hand. Caleb, no blanket today, no darkness, no rain. Just a dinosaur shirt and flashing sneakers that lit up every time he bounced in place. Caleb stared at Maya like she was a memory he wasn't sure was real. Then his face tightened. Not anger, not fear, something braver. He pointed at her with a sticky finger. It's the police lady. Ethan looked down at him, then back up at Maya. His expression was tense for 1 second, like he expected her to pretend she didn't know them, like he expected her to walk away. Maya almost did, because what was she supposed to say? Hey, sorry I joked about your dead wife. She felt heat climb up her neck. Hi, she said. Ethan gave a small nod. Hi. They stood there awkwardly. Then Caleb spoke again. You made my daddy sad. Maya's throat closed up. She crouched down to Caleb's level, right there in the line, ignoring the stares. I did, she admitted, and I'm sorry. Caleb blinked at her like he didn't expect an adult to say that so quickly. Then he held up his stuffed elephant, the same one, Mr. Trunk. You said sorry, Caleb said. Yes. Daddy says sorry means you don't do it again. Maya gave a slow nod. That's true. Caleb studied her like a tiny judge. Then he asked the question that made Ethan go still. Are you gonna disappear like everyone else? Maya froze. Ethan's hand tightened on his son's shoulder. Maya didn't understand at first. Then she did. This kid had watched people drift away after the funeral, friends who stopped calling, family members who avoided the house, adults who couldn't handle the sadness, people who promised they'd be around, and then vanished. Maya swallowed hard. No, she said quietly, I'm not going to disappear. Caleb's eyes narrowed. You promise? Maya stared into those two old eyes and she realized something. This wasn't about her and Ethan. This was about a child trying to protect his heart. I promise, she said. Ethan cleared his throat. Caleb looked up at him. Can we get ice cream now? Ethan let out a breath like he'd been holding it for years. Yes, buddy. Caleb turned back to Maya. Do you want ice cream too? Maya hesitated. She should say no. She should take her cone and leave. But Caleb was still watching her, like he was waiting to see if she meant what she said. So Maya stood. Yeah, she said. I want ice cream. Ethan's eyebrows lifted slightly. Like he was surprised she didn't run. They ordered. Caleb chose cotton candy with sprinkles. Maya got mint chocolate chip. Ethan got nothing. He said he wasn't hungry, but Maya noticed how he watched Caleb eat. Like the boy's happiness was the only thing keeping him upright. They sat at a small table near the window. Caleb talked nonstop. About dinosaurs, about school, about his teacher, about how Mr. Trunk protected him from nightmares. Maya laughed at the right moments. But her eyes kept drifting back to Ethan. He wasn't talking much. He was present, polite, but guarded, like every word came with a cost. Finally, Maya couldn't take the silence anymore. How did the appointment go? She asked. Ethan's gaze lowered. She said the nightmares are normal. Normal, Maya repeated. Ethan gave a humorless smile. Yeah, that's the medical word for good luck. Maya nodded slowly. Caleb licked his cone. then asked casually like he was asking about the weather, "Do you have nightmares too?" Maya blinked. "Me." Caleb nodded. "Daddy does." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Caleb." "It's okay," Caleb said, mouth full. "You said we don't hide stuff." Maya's chest tightened. She looked at Ethan. "Do you?" Ethan stared at his hands, then nodded once. "Yeah." Maya didn't push. She didn't ask what they were. She just let the silence sit there. Then Caleb leaned closer to her. "Daddy cries in the bathroom sometimes." Ethan's face turned red instantly. "Caleb." Caleb flinched, then hugged Mr. Trunk. Maya raised her hand gently. "It's okay," she said to Ethan. Her voice was calm, not judging, not pitying, just human. Ethan's shoulders dropped a little, like he didn't know he was allowed to be seen. Caleb stared at Ethan, then back at Maya. "Are you gonna be our friend?" Caleb asked. The question hit like a sudden drop in a roller coaster. Ethan looked away fast, like he didn't want to pressure her, like he didn't want to hope. Maya could have answered carefully. She could have said something safe. Something like, "I'm sure I'll see you around." But Caleb wasn't asking for around. He was asking for something real. Maya thought of her own father, how he'd started forgetting names lately, how her mother sounded tired every time she called, how Maya went home after shifts and sat in silence because her apartment felt like a box. And then she looked at this boy, this broken man, this tiny table with melting ice cream, and she felt something she wasn't ready for: connection. "I can be your friend," she said. Caleb's face lit up like a flashlight. "Really?" "Really?" Caleb turned to Ethan like he'd won a war. "See, I told you she wouldn't disappear." Ethan's eyes flicked to Maya, sharp, worried. He leaned in slightly, voice low. "You don't have to say things like that just because he's cute." Maya met his gaze. "I'm not saying it because he's cute." Ethan held her eyes, like he was trying to figure out what she wanted, or what she was capable of. Maya reached into her pocket, pulled out a simple business card from her wallet. Then, in one smooth motion, she wrote something on the back and slid it across the table. Ethan glanced down. His breath stopped. A phone number, her personal number. Caleb saw it and gasped like it was magic. "That's your secret number." Maya almost smiled. "Yeah." Ethan didn't touch the card right away. He stared at it like it might bite him. Then he looked up at Maya. "Why?" he asked. Maya didn't give him a perfect answer, because this wasn't a perfect moment. "I don't know," she admitted, "but I keep thinking about you too. I keep hearing what Caleb said. You made my daddy sad." Her voice cracked slightly. "And I don't want that to be the last thing I do in your lives." Ethan's throat moved like he was swallowing something heavy. He finally took the card, folded it carefully, and placed it into his wallet like it was fragile. Caleb leaned toward Maya again. "Are you coming to the park?" Maya looked at Ethan. Ethan hesitated, then nodded once, like he was stepping onto thin ice. "If you want," Ethan said quietly. Maya nodded. "I want." Caleb smiled so wide his cheeks puffed up. "Okay, Saturday, the big park." "Saturday," Maya repeated. Then Caleb leaned closer and whispered loud enough for Ethan to hear. "Daddy's scared." Maya's eyes flicked to Ethan. Ethan's face tightened. Caleb shrugged like it was obvious. "He thinks you'll leave." Maya stared at Ethan, and for the first time she saw it, not just grief, fear. The kind that comes when you've already buried one person you loved. And you can't survive burying another. Maya slowly stood. She looked down at Caleb, then back at Ethan. "I won't promise forever," she said gently, "because I don't even know what tomorrow looks like. But I meant what I said. I'm not disappearing." Ethan didn't answer. He just nodded once, and that nod felt like a door unlocking. Not wide open, just a crack, but cracks were enough for light to get in. Maya walked out of Scoop's 10 minutes later. Ice cream finished, heart pounding, phone heavier in her pocket, and one terrifying thought echoing in her head, because she wasn't just walking into a park on Saturday. She was walking into a family that was already half broken. And if she messed this up, it wouldn't just hurt Ethan. It would shatter an 8-year-old boy who had already lost too much, and she could feel it. Something dangerous was starting, something big, something she couldn't control. Saturday came faster than Maya expected, too fast. The whole week she kept asking herself the same question. Why did I say yes? Not to a date, not to dinner, but to something much bigger. A kid who had already lost one mother. And a father who looked like he was still learning how to breathe again. Now she was driving to the park, her hands tight on the steering wheel, her mind full of doubts. What if I hurt them again? What if I become another person who disappears? The park came into view, green field, swing sets, children running everywhere. And then she saw them. Caleb spotted her first. The moment her car pulled in, he jumped off the swing like it was a rocket launcher. Miss Maya. He ran across the grass at full speed. Ethan stood up quickly behind him. Caleb slowed down. Too late, the boy crashed straight into Maya's legs before she even closed the car door. You came, Caleb shouted. Maya laughed, barely catching her balance. I said I would. Caleb looked up at her with serious eyes. Some people say that and then they don't. The words hit harder than they should have. Maya crouched down. Well, today I did. Caleb nodded once like he was recording evidence. Then he grabbed her hand. Come on. Where are we going? The dinosaur. Maya blinked. The what? Caleb pointed proudly across the park. There it was, a giant plastic T-Rex playground slide. Maya burst out laughing. You dragged me here for a dinosaur. Caleb gasped dramatically. Not just a dinosaur. He leaned closer. The big dinosaur. Ethan finally reached them, slightly out of breath. Sorry, he said. He's been waiting for this all week. Maya stood up. Don't apologize. She looked down at Caleb. Lead the way, dinosaur expert. Caleb marched toward the slide like a general. For the next hour. Something strange happened. Maya forgot to be nervous. Caleb climbed the dinosaur, slid down, climbed again, dragged Maya into the game, dragged Ethan too. At one point, Caleb shouted, Daddy, you're the bad guy. Ethan raised his hands. Why am I the bad guy? Because dinosaurs eat dads first. Maya laughed so hard she had to sit down on the grass. Ethan shook his head. This feels unfair. Caleb pointed dramatically. Run. Ethan ran. Maya chased him. Caleb roared like a tiny monster. People at the park started smiling at the chaos. For a moment. It felt normal, like a family. And that realization scared Maya more than anything, because normal meant attachment, and attachment meant risk. They eventually collapsed onto a bench. Caleb was breathing like he'd run a marathon. Maya handed him a juice box from her bag. You carry emergency juice. I'm learning, she said. Caleb drank it in 3 seconds, then leaned against Maya like it was the most natural thing in the world. Ethan noticed. His expression softened. But there was still caution in his eyes. You're good with him, he said quietly. Maya shrugged. He's easy to like. Caleb looked offended. I'm not easy. You're not. No. He pointed to Mr. Trunk sitting beside him. He chooses people. Maya blinked. Your elephant chooses people. Caleb nodded seriously. He picked you. Ethan rubbed his face. I'm sorry about that. Maya smiled. It's okay. Caleb suddenly stood up. I need the bathroom. Ethan pointed toward the park building. I'll walk you. No. Caleb grabbed Mr. Trunk and ran toward the bathrooms by himself. Caleb, Ethan called, but the boy was already gone. Ethan sighed. He does that. Maya watched him disappear around the corner. Then she looked at Ethan, and suddenly the quiet between them returned, heavy, uncertain. You're thinking about leaving again, Ethan said. Maya looked at him quickly. What? I can see it. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You get quiet when you're scared. Maya stared at the ground. Maybe I should be scared. Ethan nodded slowly. You should. That answer surprised her. You agree. Of course. He looked at her honestly. You're walking into a complicated life. Widower, kid with trauma, dead wife who still exists in every memory. He shrugged slightly. That's a lot. Maya's voice was soft. I know. Ethan looked straight at her. So why are you here? Maya thought about that question, about the traffic stop, about the ice cream shop, about Caleb's words. Are you gonna disappear like everyone else? I don't know, she said honestly, but I keep thinking about something. What? That night. The traffic stop. Ethan looked away slightly. Yeah, that was memorable. Maya shook her head. No. That moment when Caleb said. She paused. You made my daddy sad. Ethan didn't speak. Maya continued. I've been a cop 8 years. I've arrested people, pulled bodies out of cars, knocked on doors to tell families someone died. But that moment, she looked at him. That one sentence hurt more than anything. Ethan studied her carefully. Why? Because it was true. The silence stretched. Then Ethan said something unexpected. You know what scared me most about that night? Maya shook her head. You didn't treat me like a tragedy. She frowned slightly. What do you mean? Everyone else does. He stared out at the park. After Sarah died, people started talking differently. Like I was fragile. Like if they joked around me, I might break. He exhaled slowly. But you. He looked at her. You flirted with me. Maya covered her face. Please stop reminding me. Ethan laughed quietly. I'm serious. For 1 second, I wasn't the guy whose wife died. I was just a guy getting pulled over. Maya slowly lowered her hands. I insulted your entire emotional history. Maybe. He smiled faintly, but it also reminded me something. What? That life didn't end with Sarah. Maya didn't know how to respond. At that moment, Caleb came running back. I didn't fall in. Maya blinked. That's good. Caleb jumped onto the bench between them. I saw a frog. Did the frog see you? Yes. Did it survive? Yes. Good, Maya said. Caleb leaned against her again. Then he looked up at both of them. Can we get pizza? Ethan laughed. You just had juice. That was juice. He looked at Maya. Please. Maya raised her hands. Don't involve me. Caleb grabbed her arm. You're on my team. Traitor, Ethan muttered. Maya sighed dramatically. Fine. Caleb jumped off the bench. Pizza. As he ran toward the parking lot. Maya and Ethan stood up slowly, and that's when something happened. Something neither of them expected. A voice behind them said loudly. Well, look at this. Maya turned. Her stomach dropped. Standing near the path was someone she knew very well, Officer Marcus Hale, her patrol partner. He stared at Ethan, then at Caleb, then back at Maya, and his expression turned cold. Hart, he said slowly, you're dating the guy you pulled over. The words sliced through the park. People nearby started looking. Ethan stiffened, Caleb froze, and Maya realized something instantly. This moment was about to explode, because Marcus Hale wasn't just her partner. He was the kind of cop who believed rules mattered more than people. And to him, this looked very wrong, very illegal, very scandalous. Marcus folded his arms. You want to explain this? Maya felt every eye in the park turn toward her. And suddenly, that harmless little joke on a rainy night was about to become a very big problem. The park went quiet, not silent, but quiet in that uncomfortable way when strangers suddenly realize something awkward is happening nearby. Marcus Hale stood with his arms crossed, watching, judging, waiting. Maya forced herself to breathe slowly. Marcus, she said calmly, this isn't what it looks like. Marcus let out a short laugh. That's funny. He looked at Ethan, then at Caleb, then back at Maya. Because from where I'm standing, it looks exactly like a cop dating someone she pulled over. A couple sitting on a nearby bench turned their heads. Maya felt heat rush into her face. "Lower your voice," she said. Marcus didn't. "Why?" He gestured toward Ethan. "Your boyfriend's speeding." Officer lets him off. Then suddenly, they're playing Happy Family at the park. His eyes narrowed. "That's not suspicious at all." Ethan stepped forward slightly. "Sir." Marcus cut him off. "I'm not talking to you." His voice turned colder. "I'm talking to Officer Hart." Caleb looked between the adults nervously. "Daddy, are we in trouble?" Ethan immediately knelt beside him. "No, buddy, nobody's in trouble." Marcus scoffed. "That depends." Maya's patience snapped. "Marcus, stop." Her voice carried authority now, the cop voice, the one suspects listened to. "Take a walk." Marcus tilted his head. "You're giving me orders." "I'm asking you not to do this in front of a child." Marcus glanced down at Caleb. For a split second his expression softened, then it hardened again. "You should have thought about that before bending department rules." The words hung in the air. Ethan slowly stood again. "What rules?" he asked carefully. Marcus pointed at Maya. "She stopped you for speeding." "Yes." "She let you go." "Yes." "And now she's dating you." He spread his hands. "You see the problem." Maya stepped between them. "There is no problem." Marcus's eyes locked on hers. "You sure about that?" He leaned closer. "Because internal affairs might see it differently." The words hit like a brick. Maya's stomach dropped. Internal affairs, that wasn't a warning, that was a threat. Ethan noticed the shift immediately. "What does that mean?" he asked. Marcus answered without taking his eyes off Maya. "It means cops aren't supposed to abuse their authority." "I didn't abuse anything." Marcus shrugged. "You let him go." "It was a warning." "Sure." Marcus turned toward Ethan. "You were speeding, right?" "Yes." "And she didn't ticket you?" "Yes." Marcus smiled thinly. "See." Ethan's voice stayed calm. "I had my son in the car." So she showed compassion." Marcus laughed again. "Compassion." He looked back at Maya. "You want to know what the department calls that?" "What?" "Preferential treatment." Maya felt anger burn in her chest. "You're twisting this." "Am I?" Marcus pulled out his phone. "Maybe internal affairs can sort it out." Caleb's small voice cut through the tension. "Please stop." Everyone turned. Caleb was clutching Mr. Trunk tightly, his face pale. "Are you going to take my daddy away?" Marcus blinked. "That's not." "You said he did something wrong." The boy's voice trembled. "And when people do something wrong, police take them away." The entire park suddenly felt too quiet. Ethan crouched again beside Caleb. "Buddy, look at me." Caleb's eyes were filling with tears. "Did you break the law?" Ethan hesitated just for a second. Marcus noticed. "Answer him." Maya snapped, "Marcus." But it was too late. Caleb's breathing sped up. "Daddy." Ethan gently held his shoulders. "I was speeding." Caleb gasped, "But I'm not in trouble." "You promise?" "I promise." Caleb slowly calmed down. Maya turned back to Marcus. Her voice was ice cold. "You done?" Marcus studied her for a long moment. Then he slipped the phone back into his pocket. "For now." He pointed at Ethan. "You might want to drive slower." Then he looked back at Maya. "And you?" His voice lowered. "Better hope nobody asks questions." He turned and walked away, just like that, but the damage was done. Caleb wiped his eyes. Why was that man mad? Ethan glanced at Maya, then back at his son. "Sometimes adults argue about things that don't matter." Caleb frowned. It looked like it mattered. Maya crouched beside him. "Hey." Caleb sniffed. "Are you in trouble?" "No." "Promise." Maya hesitated, then nodded, I promise. Caleb studied her face carefully, like he was checking if she meant it. Finally, he sighed. Okay. He grabbed Ethan's hand. Can we still get pizza? Ethan forced a smile. Yeah. We can still get pizza. Caleb cheered and ran ahead toward the parking lot, but Maya and Ethan stayed behind for a moment. The silence between them was different now, heavy, uncertain. You didn't tell me about that, Ethan said quietly. Maya rubbed her forehead, because I didn't think it mattered. Does it? She hesitated, maybe. Ethan's jaw tightened, so that guy can report you. Yes. For letting me go. Yes. And you could lose your job. Maya didn't answer. That was answer enough. Ethan stared toward the parking lot where Caleb was waiting by the car. You should have given me the ticket. Maya shook her head instantly. No. Why not? Because you didn't deserve one. Ethan exhaled slowly. But now you might lose everything. Maya looked straight at him. Worth it. The word came out before she could stop it. Ethan blinked. What? She shrugged. You had a kid in the car. You were rushing to help him. I made a judgment call. And I'd make the same one again. Ethan stared at her like he didn't know what to say. Then he gave a quiet laugh. You're unbelievable. Why? You're risking your career. For what? Maya glanced toward Caleb. Not for what? For who? Ethan followed her gaze. The little boy was standing on the curb, pretending Mr. Trunk was flying, completely unaware that adults were debating his future. Ethan swallowed. Marcus might not let this go. I know. You're not worried. Maya looked back at him. I'm a cop. I deal with worse than Marcus Hale every day. Ethan studied her. You're brave. No. She shook her head. I'm stubborn. He smiled slightly. That too. They started walking toward the car, but Ethan stopped suddenly. Maya. Yeah. If this causes problems for you. It won't. You don't know that. I know. She opened the car door for Caleb, then looked back at Ethan. But I'm not walking away from you because of a rumor. Ethan held her eyes, and something shifted between them, something deeper than attraction, trust, real trust. Caleb climbed into the back seat. Pizza time. Ethan laughed. Pizza time. Maya leaned against the door for a second, watching them, feeling something she hadn't expected. Hope. But somewhere across the city, Marcus Hale was already making a phone call, and the conversation he was about to start was going to test Maya Hart's career, her reputation, and the fragile little family she was just beginning to build, because sometimes the most dangerous enemies aren't criminals, they're the people wearing the same badge. Maya knew something was wrong the moment she walked into the station, not because anyone said anything, because nobody did. The front desk clerk didn't joke with her like usual. Two officers near the locker stopped talking when she passed, and Captain Dorsey, a man who normally greeted her with a nod, didn't even look up. He just said one sentence without emotion. Hart, conference room, now. Maya's stomach tightened. She didn't ask why. She already knew. She walked down the hallway with her boots sounding too loud, like the building was listening. The conference room door was cracked open. Inside, she saw three people: Captain Dorsey, a woman in a gray suit with a folder, and Marcus Hale sitting back in a chair like he owned the place. Maya stepped in and closed the door behind her. Captain Dorsey didn't offer a seat. Officer Hart, he said, voice flat, this is Investigator Lane. The woman in the suit gave a polite nod. Internal affairs. Maya's blood ran cold. Marcus didn't even hide his satisfaction. He just sat there, hands folded, eyes steady. Maya kept her face calm. What is this about? Investigator Lane opened her folder. We received a complaint. Maya didn't blink. From who? Lane's eyes flicked toward Marcus for half a second, then back to Maya. A member of your department. Maya stared at Marcus. He returned the stare like it was a game. Lane continued. The complaint alleges you engaged in misconduct during a traffic stop 3 weeks ago. Maya's jaw tightened. What misconduct? Lane read from the page like she'd done it 100 times. Failing to issue a citation for a speeding violation. In exchange for personal attention. Maya's breath stopped. Captain Dorsey's face hardened. Maya slowly looked back at Lane. That's a lie. Lane lifted one eyebrow. Do you know the driver? Maya knew the trap. If she said no, they'd say she was hiding something. If she said yes, they'd say it was proof. So she told the truth. Yes. Lane made a note. What is his name? Ethan Brooks. Marcus leaned forward slightly, pretending to be shocked. Oh wow. Maya shot him a look that could cut glass. Lane asked, Are you romantically involved with Mr. Brooks? Maya's throat tightened, but she refused to act ashamed. Yes. Marcus let out a quiet laugh. There it was, the word everyone wanted. Yes. Captain Dorsey's voice became sharper. And you met him during a traffic stop. Yes. Dorsey slammed his palm on the table. You understand how that looks. Maya didn't flinch. I understand how it's being framed. Lane kept her tone neutral. Did you flirt with him during the stop? Maya's face burned. She hated that question because it was true. One stupid line, one joke. Yes, Lane wrote again. And after that flirtation, you issued only a warning. Maya leaned forward. He was rushing his son to a medical appointment. In heavy rain. With a child in the car. I made a judgment call. Lane flipped to a new page. Do you have proof of that medical appointment? Maya froze. She hadn't thought of that. Ethan hadn't been late-night emergency room paperwork. He'd been a dad in crisis. Maya swallowed. I don't. Lane nodded like she expected that. Captain Dorsey exhaled hard. Hart, do you realize what kind of headache you've created for me? Maya's voice was controlled. With respect, sir, I didn't create this. I made a decision on the road. This complaint, that's being created right now. Marcus smiled. Dorsey glared. Hale, you've said your piece. Stop smiling like this is entertainment. Marcus raised his hands. Hey, I'm just here because I care about the badge. Maya couldn't stop herself. You care about destroying me. Marcus's eyes sharpened. I care about standards. Maya laughed once. Cold standards. She looked at Lane. Are we done? Lane slid the folder closed. No. Not yet. She stood up. As of now, Officer Hart, you are placed on administrative leave pending investigation. Maya's heartbeat hit her ears. Captain Dorsey looked away like he didn't want to see her face. Maya's voice came out quiet. You're suspending me. Lane nodded. Your firearm will be surrendered before you leave today. Maya stared at her badge on her chest, the thing she'd earned. The thing her father had pinned on her with shaking, proud hands, and now it was being treated like a dirty object. Marcus stood too, and this time he didn't even try to hide it. He leaned close enough for only her to hear. You should have given him the ticket. Maya's hands clenched. Then Marcus whispered the real poison. You know what the worst part is? She didn't answer. Marcus smiled. That kid you're bonding with is going to think you left him. Maya's chest tightened. He knew exactly where to stab. Captain Dorsey cleared his throat. Hart, hand over your weapon. Maya unclipped her holster slowly, placed it on the table, then her badge. The metal hit the table with a soft clink. It felt like someone slapped her in the face. Maya stood straight. She looked at Lane. Then Dorsey, then Marcus. You're making a mistake, she said. Marcus lifted a brow. Oh. Maya's eyes were steady. The biggest mistake a powerful person can make is thinking nobody will fight back. Marcus scoffed. Fight back with what? Maya didn't answer because she didn't know yet, but she would. She didn't drive home. She drove straight to Ethan's house. Her hands were shaking on the wheel, not from fear, from rage, from humiliation. From the fact that Marcus had just turned her kindness into a weapon. She parked and sat there for 10 seconds, breathing. Then she walked up to the door. Caleb opened it. His face lit up instantly. "Miss Maya." He grabbed her hand and pulled her inside like she belonged there. "I made a dinosaur drawing for you." Maya forced a smile. "That's awesome, buddy." Caleb didn't notice her tight expression. He never did when he was happy. Ethan came in from the kitchen. One look at Maya's face and he went still. "What happened?" Maya swallowed. "I got suspended." Ethan's mouth opened slightly. "What?" "Internal affairs. They think I let you go because I flirted with you." Ethan's face drained. Caleb froze mid-step. He looked between them. "Are you in trouble?" Maya crouched down. "No, Caleb. You didn't do anything wrong." The boy's eyes filled anyway. "Are you going to go away?" Maya felt her heart crack. No. But then she saw Ethan's face. Not anger, not blame. Fear. The kind that says this is my fault. Ethan pulled Maya into the kitchen quietly, away from Caleb's ears. "This is because of me," he whispered. Maya shook her head hard. "No. It's because of Marcus." Ethan looked sick. "Maya, if you lose your job." "I'm not losing it." "You don't know that." Maya leaned closer. "Yes, I do." Ethan stared at her. "How?" Maya's voice lowered. "Because Marcus made one mistake." "What mistake?" Maya took a slow breath, then said the sentence that changed Ethan's expression. "He thinks I'll just take this." "I won't." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "What are you going to do?" Maya didn't answer right away, because the truth was, she didn't have a plan yet, but she did have something else. A memory, a detail, something small, something that hadn't seemed important until now, that traffic stop. The night she pulled Ethan over. She remembered the glove compartment, the way he fumbled, the way he rushed. Not just because of the appointment, because he was looking for something, and she'd caught a glimpse of it, a folded paper, white, with a hospital logo. Ethan's jaw tightened. "What are you thinking?" Maya looked at him. "I'm thinking you had proof in that car." Ethan blinked. "The appointment slip." "Yes. You said you didn't have proof." "I didn't." "But you did." Ethan swallowed. "I might." "Then we find it." Ethan stared at her, then nodded slowly. "Okay." Maya looked toward the living room where Caleb was quietly drawing now, pretending he wasn't listening. Her voice dropped. "We find it. And then we hit Marcus where it hurts." Ethan's eyes sharpened. "Where?" Maya's face went cold. "In public." The next morning, Maya woke up in Ethan's guest room. She hadn't planned to stay, but Caleb had begged. And Ethan had looked at her like he didn't trust the world to hold her up right now, so she stayed. Maya stared at the ceiling for a long time. No uniform, no radio, no badge on her chest. Just the weight of being treated like a criminal for showing kindness. From the hallway she heard Caleb's small voice. "Daddy, is Miss Maya still here?" "Yes, buddy." A pause. "Good, because people leave when things get hard." Maya closed her eyes. That sentence was the whole story. She got up and stepped into the kitchen. Ethan was already there, coffee in one hand, keys in the other. He looked like he hadn't slept either. Caleb sat at the table drawing something fierce-looking, a dinosaur wearing a police hat. Maya blinked at it. Caleb held it up proudly. "This is Rex the cop." Maya forced a smile. "He looks tough." "He is," Caleb said seriously. "He bites bad guys." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "We need to find that paper." Maya nodded. "Now." They drove to Ethan's house's small garage first, then his car, the silver sedan, the same car from the rainy night. Ethan opened the driver's door and looked at Maya. "I feel like I'm digging up a crime scene." Maya's mouth twitched. "Pretty much." Caleb climbed into the back seat like he was on a mission. "Mr. Trunk will help." Maya glanced at Ethan. "Let him." Ethan sighed. "Fine." They searched the glove compartment. Old receipts. insurance papers, a crumpled fast food napkin. Nothing. Maya's stomach tightened. Then she remembered not the glove compartment, the center console. That night Ethan had reached too fast, too nervous. He had shoved something down. Maya opened the console. Her fingers hit something stiff. Paper, folded. She pulled it out slowly. Ethan leaned in. The paper had a hospital logo at the top. Date, time, patient name. Caleb Brooks. Ethan exhaled like someone had released a chain from his chest. Maya read the time stamp. It matched the night of the traffic stop. The appointment wasn't a story, it was real. Then she saw something else. A second page, stapled behind it, a printed note. Ethan stared at it. What is that? Maya's eyes narrowed. It wasn't a medical note. It looked like a letter. Typed, signed. At the top it had a name, Marcus Hale. Maya's blood ran cold. Ethan frowned. Why is your partner's name on a paper in my car? Maya didn't answer yet. She read the first line and her breath caught. It wasn't written to Ethan. It was written about Ethan, a complaint form, a tip. The kind that gets someone pulled over, the kind that gets someone watched. Maya looked up at Ethan slowly. You didn't get pulled over by accident, she said. Ethan's face went blank. What? Maya held up the paper. This is why you were pulled over that night. Ethan took it with shaking fingers. He read it, and his jaw tightened. Marcus reported me. Maya nodded. Looks like it. Ethan's voice was low. Why would he do that? Maya's mind raced. Then it hit her. Marcus wasn't just angry that Maya dated a driver. Marcus had been watching Ethan, targeting him. Before Maya even met him, Ethan looked up, eyes hard now. My wife died because a drunk driver hit her. Maya swallowed, and Marcus knows that. Ethan's voice shook. So why would he target me? Maya stared at the paper again, then at the signature, then at Ethan, and the answer made her stomach twist. Because, she said quietly, you're a single dad. You're tired. You're easy to label as reckless. She looked at Ethan, and Marcus likes looking like the hero. Ethan's hands clenched. Caleb, sensing the tension, hugged Mr. Trunk tighter. Is Daddy in trouble? Maya turned instantly. No, buddy. Daddy's not in trouble. Daddy's being lied about. Caleb frowned. Like when kids blame someone else. Exactly, Maya said. Then she looked at Ethan, and her voice went firm. We're not just clearing my name. We're clearing yours. Ethan took a breath. How? Maya didn't smile. Not yet. We do it in a place Marcus can't control. Ethan blinked. Where? Maya held up the papers. In front of the people who can't ignore evidence. 2 hours later, Maya walked into the station. Not as an officer. As a citizen. She wasn't supposed to be here, but she didn't care. She walked straight to the front desk. The clerk looked up, startled. Officer Hart, you can't. I need Captain Dorsey, Maya said, right now. The clerk hesitated. Maya leaned closer. This is about an internal affairs case. The clerk swallowed, then picked up the phone. A minute later, Captain Dorsey came out. His face tightened when he saw her. What are you doing here? Maya held up the stapled papers. I brought proof. Dorsey frowned. Proof of what? Maya's voice was steady. That I didn't give a warning for personal reasons. That I gave a warning because a child had an emergency appointment. Dorsey stared at the hospital slip, then at the second page, and his expression changed. His eyes sharpened. What is that? He asked quietly. Maya didn't answer. She let him read. Dorsey's face darkened as he scanned the page. Lane, the IA investigator, stepped out from the hallway and froze when she saw Maya. Officer Hart, Lane said, you are not authorized. Maya cut her off. I'm not here as an officer. I'm here as evidence. Lane's eyes dropped to the papers. She took them carefully. Read the first page, then the second. Her eyebrows lifted, slowly. Captain, Lane said, voice different now, we need to speak privately. Dorsey didn't take his eyes off the complaint page. His voice was low. Hale. Maya felt her heartbeat spike. Dorsey turned to the desk clerk. Where's Officer Hale? The clerk stammered, he's on shift. Dorsey's jaw tightened, call him in. Now Marcus Hale walked in 15 minutes later, relaxed, confident, like he was arriving to collect a trophy. Then he saw Maya. His smile flickered just for a second. Wow, Marcus said. Didn't think you'd show your face. Maya didn't speak. She just watched him. Captain Dorsey stepped forward and held up the papers. Hale, Dorsey said, do you recognize this? Marcus glanced at it. His face stayed calm, too calm. I don't know what that is. Lane held up the complaint page. It has your name. It has your signature. Marcus shrugged. Someone could fake that. Maya finally spoke. You mean like you faked a whole complaint against me? Marcus's eyes sharpened. Careful. Maya stepped forward. No. You be careful. She pointed at the hospital slip. That was the reason I gave a warning. You told I let him go because I wanted attention. She lifted her chin. But your own paperwork proves you were targeting him before I even met him. Marcus's jaw clenched. Captain Dorsey turned to Lane. Is this real? Lane's voice was controlled. We'll verify, but it appears to be an official departmental tip form. Marcus laughed, forced. You're all really doing this. He spread his arms. She's sleeping with a civilian, and suddenly we're worried about paperwork. Dorsey's face snapped. You used internal tip forms to target a grieving single father. You weaponized procedure. And then you filed a complaint against your own partner to destroy her. Marcus's smile vanished. His voice became sharp. She crossed a line. Maya stepped closer. You crossed 10. Marcus leaned in, voice low. You think you win because you found a piece of paper. Maya didn't blink. No. I win because you forgot something. Marcus scoffed. What? Maya's voice cut clean. You forgot I'm a cop too. Lane lifted her folder. Officer Hale, she said, you are now under investigation for misconduct. Marcus stiffened. This is ridiculous. Captain Dorsey's voice was cold. Hand over your firearm. For the first time, Marcus looked scared. Not guilty, scared, because powerful people never think consequences will touch them. His eyes flicked around the lobby. Other officers were watching now. Front desk, hallway, even two civilians waiting near the chairs had turned to look. Marcus's voice rose slightly. You're doing this in public. Dorsey stared him down. You did your dirt in public. You can answer for it in public. Marcus's face reddened. He looked at Maya with pure hatred. This is your fault. Maya held his gaze. No. This is your bill coming due. Marcus clenched his jaw. Then slowly removed his weapon, placed it on the counter. The metal clink echoed in the lobby, just like Maya's badge had, only this time. It felt like justice. Lane spoke again. Officer Hart, she said, pending verification, you will be reinstated immediately. Maya didn't smile yet because she wasn't done. She turned to Captain Dorsey. Sir. Dorsey looked at her. Maya's voice dropped. That complaint against Ethan, that needs to be corrected too. Dorsey nodded once. It will be. Marcus exploded. You can't just erase what I filed. Dorsey stepped close enough that Marcus leaned back. Watch me. Then Dorsey turned to Maya. You did the right thing that night. Maya felt her throat tighten. Lane added quietly, you also did the right thing today. Maya nodded once. Then she turned and walked out, not because she was running, because she was finished. That evening, Maya returned to Ethan's house. Caleb met her at the door like always, but this time his face wasn't bouncing. He looked nervous. Miss Maya. Maya crouched. What's wrong? Caleb swallowed. Are you going to disappear now? Maya's chest tightened. She took his small hands gently. No. Caleb's eyes wobbled. Promise. Maya nodded. I promise. Caleb stared at her for a long moment. Then he did something that almost broke her. He hugged her so tight she could barely breathe. I don't like bad guys, he whispered. I know. Maya held him. I don't either. Ethan stood behind them, eyes wet. When Caleb finally ran off to show Mr. Trunk the new dinosaur drawing he made, Ethan stepped closer. You didn't have to do all that, he said. Yes, Maya replied. I did. Ethan swallowed. I'm sorry my life dragged you into this. Maya shook her head. No. Your life didn't drag me. I walked in. She held his eyes, and I'm still here. Ethan's breath shook. Then he said the quiet line that landed like a vow. I haven't taken off the ring yet. Maya nodded gently. I know. Ethan's voice cracked. But today, when I saw you fight like that. He stared down at his hand. I thought about something. Maya waited. Ethan looked up. My wife died because someone didn't care. Someone chose selfishness. He swallowed, and you. You chose us. Maya's eyes stung. Ethan stepped closer. Then slowly. He slid the ring off his finger. He didn't throw it away. He didn't hide it. He simply set it on the table like a goodbye done with respect. Caleb ran back in at that exact moment. He saw the ring. His eyes widened. Daddy, is that Mommy's ring? Ethan crouched beside him. Yes. Caleb's face tightened. Are you forgetting her? Ethan shook his head. Never. He touched Caleb's chest gently. She's here. In us. Caleb sniffed, then looked at Maya, and Miss Maya. Ethan looked at Maya too. His voice was steady. She's here with us too. Caleb stared for a long second, then nodded like it finally made sense. Okay. Then he smiled, small, real. If Mommy Sarah is in our hearts, and Miss Maya is in our house, then our house is not empty anymore. Maya's eyes filled instantly. Ethan's face crumpled, and for a moment nobody spoke, because the kid had said the truth in the simplest way. Maya knelt beside Caleb. You know what, buddy? What? Maya's voice was soft but clear. The biggest mistake a powerful person can make is forgetting that invisible people are still watching. Caleb blinked. Invisible people. Maya smiled. People they underestimate. Ethan looked at her like he understood the real meaning. Marcus had underestimated her. The department had underestimated the truth. And everyone had underestimated the quiet strength of a grieving family. Maya kissed Caleb's forehead, then looked up at Ethan. No more running, she said. Ethan nodded. No more running. And in that quiet house, with a stuffed elephant on the couch, a dinosaur drawing on the table, and one ring resting gently beside it, justice didn't feel loud, it felt earned.